and go somewhere else. And God is like, if we just obey his voice while we're walking, if we obey his voice as he's calling us to do certain things and to speak out or keep silent, when we obey his voice, we're better for it. You know, we're better for it. I had to spank one of my kids about that because I asked this one to do this one. As soon as I turned my back, they went right back to doing what they did. And I'm like, listen, as soon as I turn my back, you can't go back to what I did because that can cost you your life. If I say no, no means no. If I say stop, if I say sit, if I say move, you have to do it because there's something I know. Case in point, here's a daughter who asks dad to go somewhere. He says, no, you cannot go. Well, you don't even know at all that. You cannot go. I'm just saying, don't go. Well, she's going to wait till he goes to bed to be disobedient. Sneaks out the window, has a good old time, comes back in the house like 3:30, trying to sneak in the window. She doesn't know dad got a gun because he's been hearing reports. He's been hearing reports of burglaries. He went and bought a gun. Somebody's coming through the window. He opens fire. Pow, pow, pow. Who is it? It's his daughter. Blows her away. And I said that was so daggone selfish of the girl. Not only was it disrespectful and disobedient, it's selfish because she's going on to hell for disobedience. That's what you get.
That's right.
That's what it is. Nobody doubt it. No doubt about it. But now the daddy has to live with the misery that he lost his daughter and that he was the killer. And he has to live with that until he goes to his grave. That's not right. And we have to be listening to the voice of the Lord and say, God, please, I want to do what you want me to do.
She just told you.
It's not okay to be carnal.
You heard that?
Let me say that again. We have to, y'all. We cannot keep mixing with the world and think it's okay. I pray that somebody watching this or listening to me is getting incredibly uncomfortable. It's time for us to be uncomfortable in what we're doing. You know, we have to. We're coming up. God is looking for us to be used. He's looking for us to not live for self. He's looking for us to be strong and courageous. He's looking for us, even in our weak moment, to turn to Him and say, God, I need you. Even when you, this is beautiful. Let me take you here. Go to 2 Corinthians 12. 2 Corinthians 12. I know I can't put this together. Only the Lord can do this. 2 Corinthians 12. Nobody is judging you because you have a weak moment. But if you continue to live in weak moments and not have a desire to get strong or to turn back to God, you are backslidden.
That's right.
You know, that's all you can say. That's all you can do. Here it is. For though I would glory, I shall not be a fool. This is starting at verse 6. I will say the truth. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I could, but you know what? I'm just going to hold up. Lest any man think of me above what I seem to be, or that he hears of me. Lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, so that I don't get all swole up and like I'm all that. This is Paul. This is the author of most of the New Testament. This is the one Jesus appeared to him himself, knocked him off his beast and said, listen, why are you doing this? I'm Jesus, who you persecuting. Changed this man's life, wrote most of the New Testament. He says, listen, so I don't get swole up and get myself all messed up and think I'm all that. There was given me a thorn in my flesh. There was something that I had to deal with that I kept praying about. I prayed about this thing that it should get away from me 3 times, that it might depart from me. Like, God, can you just help me? Now, history says it was more than likely a physical sickness that he asked God to help him with. But the Bible doesn't say particular. So it could be spiritual. It could be any kind of weakness that somebody great in the Bible had. He says, I'm just going to admit it. It was put in my flesh to buffet me so I don't get swole up. So before I get all lifted and high, there's always something.
Fix your face.
Right.
To make sure you don't look down at somebody with your down your nose like you all that. Here he said, I asked God 3 times, Lord, please take this away from me. Paul said that God said to him, my grace is enough. My grace is sufficient for you. For my strength is made perfect in your weakness. The moment you admit, God, I need you. I'm weak. I have an addiction. I have something that I'm dealing with. The moment you admit that, God says, I step right in. Paul then says, most gladly, therefore, I'd rather glory in my infirmities. I'm just going to admit it. I'm not proud of what's going on. I'm not happy with it, but I admit that when I am weak, When I am weak, then I'm really strong because my strength lies in Christ. He says, therefore I take pleasure in my infirmities. That doesn't mean he's indulging in his sin. That means I look on my life like, God, I'm struggling with this. This is my struggle. And it doesn't say it's sin, but it says this is my struggle. But in my reproaches, in my necessities,
Get off the floor.
in my persecutions, in my distresses for Christ's sake. For when I'm weak, I'm strong. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to make sure that while we're having our weak moment, we cannot live there. When you walked in, I was talking about how I know how it feels to have an addiction. And a lot of people would like to know what that addiction is. It would change people with eyebrows.
Could you just tell me?
I don't need to know. Right?
Okay, so
you said you was delivered.
It's serious.
Can I go to my thing?
Get up.
Can you?
My story?
Yes, please go to yours.
Let me tell y'all how.
Connected to what we talking about.
Yes, let me tell y'all how God dealt with me this week, right? So this lady came in, right? And you know that hair that people used to braid their hair? So that was her hair look. But it was like from on the sides, like from this part of my head to back, putting in the ponytail, was very thick. So I'm far away. Mind you, I wear glasses, but I have on contacts, and I can't really see that one from a distance. She looks bald headed up top, right? So me and my manager, we're sitting at the back. My manager's cool. So we standing at the back, and I was like, you see this lady? I know I shouldn't have been talking about her. So I said, you see this lady? She look bald-headed. She was like, yeah. I seen this lady. She was chewing her gum. All wild, looking real ugly. So I bust out laughing because my manager is so funny. The way she said it was so funny. Anyway. Fast forward, so we supposed to do like customer service. So I'm like, oh, this is a good time to be nosy and do my customer service. So I go up to the lady. I'm like, she's right there, and I'm like, where Kojo's at? And she has a friend, a lady with her, right? So I say, y'all need, mind you, I can see it at this point. So I'm like, I said, y'all need help anything? How y'all doing today? So my first immediate thing is go look at the bald head lady, look at the top of her head. It was not bald. She was not bald headed. Okay, I got her. Okay. So I look up at top of her head, and she has like this real dry skin that was like uprising out her scalp, and like remember the hair was like coming through it. So I look at the top of her, you know where like mine, it was about this high. Stop! I don't want to repent for this again. So it was like this high. It was like dry scalp. Yeah. It was like scab white in her head. Ew. So I'm like disturbed. Yeah, that's nasty. I'm like disturbed. I'm like trying to reach you because I'm looking at this lady and use a customer service. And part of me says, you better not laugh. So I try to finish up the sentence, and I said, okay. I said, anything else y'all need? And I scurry back to the furniture desk. So my other co-workers was taking apart this bed. I work in the furniture section. They was taking apart this bed. So I scooped behind the headboard that was put up so you can't see, and I bust out. So the manager was like, what's wrong with that? I said, no, that looks like mold. So this is when it gets crazy. So I'm like, and they was like, son, you are so wrong. And I'm like, I know, but it's like it disturbed me so bad. So I'm like, about to pee on myself so bad. So my manager was like, I said, she is not bald. That lady has mold on her. I wonder how that happened. I'm concerned. I just kept saying it like kept pouring out. So then I'm like, so I told my manager, I said, let me stop, because I'm going to have to repent Sunday. This is what I said right before I told her and started bawling in tears for a good 15 minutes, right? So I go home, I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning, I got a bump on my lip.
The guy's like, okay.
It's a butt bump.
It's like,
and I wake up and I'm going in the bathroom. I'm like, why the side of my lip feels so big? So I'm like, I look in the mirror, it's this big cold sore on my lip. I get in the shower, I'm like, this is what you get for talking about people. So I go to work and I'm like, how y'all doing? And then I'm like, I bought 3 types of caramels. The blue kind, the one that you squeeze at the bottom, and the ointment. I'm putting it all on my lips. Like, I'm like, this is, yes. So I get in there, and it was like, I'm talking to my manager. I said, yep, this is, I'm having some complications this morning. She said, what's wrong with you? I said, I should have repented last night because I woke up with a bump up and I showed her. She busts out laughing. She said, that's what you get. She said, that's why I said I wasn't going to talk about the girl with you.
Say that.
I was so mad. Then the whole day I'm like putting the ointment is white. So I'm putting the white ointment on my I'm not trying to rub it in.
Crackhead. Like,
I'm not trying to rub it in.
Powder donut.
I came out the thing, the back room, the lady, they talking about something. The man was like, oh, you got some stuff on your face. I said, I know.
And now you the sight. Everybody looking at
I'm trying to rub it in. Hey, this lady staring in my face like, what was she doing?
Look how this thing turned around. And we said it at the beginning. We said at the beginning, like, you don't even have a quick turnaround. Like, I mean, like you don't have a long time between what you reap and sow come together. That's the real thing. That's why we have to be so careful. And that's real talk. Thank you for sharing, because people wouldn't admit it. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is the things we got to think about, because just as sure as you put it out, it's coming in. Just as sure as you have a weekday, be careful how you laugh.
No, I want to talk about my day. I was coming from I was coming from school, and I have to walk from the bus stop to the house. From the bus stop to the house, the bus stop is here. There's a big old like where the sign is in between, like Walker's Park. Right there, it's all this grass, and it's the street. There's some more grass. It's the hill. It's the next neighborhood. So I'm like shivering cold because it's raining outside. I'm like, ooh. And I'm thinking about the lady at Addison Station, and she's like, I don't know if she's Christian or not, but she always gives like she be shouting out like, take a shower or something like that. It'll save your life. And she be like,
Does she have mental illness?
And she the one that be wearing white all the time with that big white do-rag on her head?
But she has like an African wear that she wears, whatever. And she
I think it sounds like mental illness.
But she does what y'all do, like
Y'all do.
I can't think of it right now. Like, you know how you
Evangelizing. Street witness evangelism?
No, she okay. I cannot believe I'm like so.
That's alright.
Brain dead. What y'all do? Like y'all like speak in tongues. That's
okay.
My bad.
Okay, that's
but
okay.
anyway, so so I'm just thinking about her, and I'm like shivering outside. I'm like, hold up, it sounds like that a little bit. So I started doing it outside just because I'm shivering. And all of a sudden, I guess because I'm not supposed to be like mocking y'all, I stepped in a big old thing of mud, and I tried to flick my foot out so quick, and all this mud is like on the back.
So then it looks like you got issues in the back. I mean,
so I'm walking home. I'm like, oh my god!
And it's not, and this
that happened so quick because I had just started doing it, and I flicked all this mud on my back.
No, you won't. God's like, no, we're not gonna play. We're not gonna play.
He did me.
And I really want us to think about this. And simply, let me look at what time it is. Simply because
8:57.
Okay,
I was sick.
Simply because. I don't want this. These are some of the things we said. Like when you first think of a person, or what do you say of a person who falls? Sometimes first thing you do is call them a hypocrite. Sometimes you might say, "Oh, that was just a lesson that they learned." These are some of the things that we talked about. But if you are not, if you're not careful, nobody in here is beyond falling.
That's right.
Nobody in here is beyond falling.
I feel like
Myself included. Nobody in here is beyond falling. And you really have to think, Lord, I need you. If you're gonna do anything for God, y'all, I'm giving you the scripture.
Could you come get mom to
that was
side?
an accident.
Well, let it not happen again. We in a closed space too.
Open the window. Open
I
the window.
put my head down. It didn't even get out there. I put my head down.
Anyhow, go ahead.
This is of course there's.
Exactly.
What?
Thank
Okay.
you, Haley.
Don't close it.
I want y'all to hear this. It seems like there's a lot going on here tonight, but I want y'all to hear this. I want you to hear this. None of us is beyond falling. And when you know that, you turn to God.
What do you mean beyond falling? Like
that
you
means
fail so much that
nobody's so good that you think you can always be up here.
Oh,
you know what I mean? You're so holy. But then I want you to think this too. If you know that, you need to be doing what you need to do.
That's right.
To build yourself up. Don't be like, oh, well, I'm human, because people just throw that human thing out there. God knows we're human. He created us, but he still has expectations for us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in here has had a weakness. Everybody in here has had a weakness. I don't want us to, I guess today's lesson is, if you prideful and you think you all that, you're weak. You know what I mean? You think you're strong. There's some people who are so prideful they look down on people. Oh, look at you. Oh, girl, where you going with that little skirt on? You know, some people are already tearing you up. And they're up here thinking they're up here when actually you're weak because you're judging. You're judging somebody. And God's like, no, that's not the way you do it.
You know what be getting on my nerves?
No.
On social networks now? Because everybody and their mother think that the social network, like the religion that is more revolving right now around social network is Jehovah Witnesses, right? So they got this one point up in here, right? That you know the other people that it's like the opposite of Jehovah Witnesses, the apostates.
The apostolic?
Yeah. So, whatever. Okay. So they're giving around on people's doors and putting fake $10 bills on the door, and you know people think it's Jehovah Witnesses, but Jehovah Witnesses don't give away money. But you know people got that perception that that's Jehovah Witnesses because they knock on the door. My whole thing is, why do we always speak on stuff that we know nothing about, did not do our research, but we have this one trend topic and just put it for everything? You understand what I'm saying? Like just like a word. We use a word for everything. Like a trend. What's a trend topic word? Dog. Nah, dog. I could be a human. You call me a dog. We use dog, but spell it differently. D-O-G, D-A-G, D-A-W-G. When I spell the dog, you understand what I'm saying?
Well, people say the same thing about Christians. Not just about Jehovah's Witnesses. They say the same thing about Christians. They say, why do people lump all Christians together when here's a group of Christians over here acting a fool? You can't call all Christians that way. You know what I'm saying?
And they serve differently and have their perception on God in a different way. But we all are combined as one thing. Just like this. Like in the Mike Brown case. We quote everything because of our skin. We don't quote because it could be right or wrong, but because the police officer is blah 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 and we're black, so that's our main goal. And racism. Okay. Racism. We think that people hate us, the white people hate us because we black, and that's how it's been for centuries. We got things like we may not get the higher jobs, but the white people may get the higher jobs. But then you look at the white people and they may think, we get the higher jobs because we do certain things that make us, get the higher jobs. We go to school. There's a whole percentage that say we don't go to school, but then you look it up, and we got a good amount of black people that's going to school and getting money.
You are always going to have people who are going to talk about things they don't know about. There are people who are saying things about Christians that are not true.
Did I make
people
sense?
Saying things about a little bit.
No,
then a little bit.
Opinions.
A little bit. But this is the thing. All gods are not the same.
Right.
All gods are not the same. All religions are not the same. You can have one faith. You can have one people declaring a faith and have different interpretations. Mm-hmm. This is the thing you better go by. You better go by the Holy Bible. And you better sit down with God yourself and say, Lord, tell me. And you need to get to somebody's church,
that's right.
A Bible-believing, Christ-preaching church, and then you'll hear the truth. And when you hear the truth, you can discern a lie. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When you start saying all people do this or all this type of people do that, you already shut down because
nobody ever, always, or never.
Exactly. That's not going to happen. All you know about is you. You know when you're strong. You know when you're weak. You know when you're in sin, and you know when you are walking with the Lord. Nobody can tell you that. Isn't that true?
That's correct.
You might have your opinion of me, and that could be good or bad, but only you know who you are. And all of us are going to have to stand in front of God and give an account for everything we do. It doesn't matter what white people think about me. It doesn't matter what black people think about me. What does God think about you? Because this is his ruler right here. If you don't measure up by this ruler, there is nothing, no work that you can do, no position, no status, no idea or philosophy you come up with, no excuse you give yourself that God is going to accept. He's going to say, did you accept my son Jesus Christ? And did you live according to my scripture? Those are the questions he's going to ask you. If either of those questions is, if the answer to either of those questions is no, you're gonna have something to pay for.
And Jeanette, what you had mentioned, we talked about that last week or the week before. That's where on the board you have your Christian activism versus civil disobedience.
It would have been good for you to be here for that.
Yeah.
I put that up.
But it's on YouTube,
edit?
so you can definitely look that
I
up.
hope you edit because in the beginning that's something that I realized.
Well,
I'll tell you about it. There's something.
I probably didn't start until we started praying. So if there's anything before that, the camera wasn't even on.
I don't know. Go back and check the front part.
Okay.
Check the very front.
What's the YouTube thing called?
You're gonna listen. I'm probably gonna be able to.
Ridgley Ministries or Young Adult Bible Study. I'm not.
It's John Ridgley. Yeah.
We should do. Y'all
You have to give it a real person name.
Y'all got
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Symphony outside. You hear this beautiful Christmas music, like
Who's singing?
it's in the distance. No, it's like instruments.
Oh, it might be somebody's Christmas display.
I'm